hours. IRGC General Salami went on record. Wait, is his name actually Salami? Can we look into that? What is he, hanging out with Colonel Mustard and Major Meat? General Salami, really? But US military again today on a whole new level. IRGC General Salami, yeah, General Salami. I think he works with Colonel Mustard and Major Meat. They warned that the war is likely to resume and promised long and painful strikes on American positions. They bring in General Salami from the IRGC. Apparently General Salami was struck last year, and now his brother, the Junior Salami, I mean, this sounds like a delicious sandwich that you would grab at McDonald's or Arby's. Junior Salami, Salami Junior, comes in and is basically on the board now. He's on the charcuterie board, and he is a major factor on the board. And I just like to say that Salami is on the board makes me feel like I want a charcuterie board because it's so delicious. Brigadier General Mustafa Salami. Seriously, is Salami back in the mix now? Are we getting more information from Salami? Is he back on the board? Because if he is, it's making me extremely hungry and wanting to have a charcuterie party. But most people that he's waiting for a second course of the charcuterie party, if you will. He's to be sliced extremely thin and put on delicious crackers. Wait, the gap, is Salami someone who can be brought over to the correct side and actually be put on a sandwich that's delicious? Or will he So can Salami actually team up with some cheese that's actually gonna get something done? But more on Salami later, especially during... And that shadow general is none other than General Salami. Yeah, that's right. We've got a new General Salami who's coming out of the woodwork, who's back on the board for the charcuterie party that includes supposedly 130 fast attack craft from Iran and A-10s, F-15Es. And these fighters are ready to go, showing General Salami this might be a sandwich that he doesn't survive. Artesh, that's the normal army in Iran. That's the place where General Salami is said to be being the bridge between the normal army and the IRGC. Sourdough loaves. General Salami at this point is in the middle of a really hot sandwich of... General Salami at this point is in the middle between a toasted... General Salami is basically in the middle, bridging the... General Salami is basically right in the middle between a delicious sandwich of the Ayatollah class and towards Iranian waters. I wonder who that was. Meanwhile, General Salami is like sitting in the background while they're stealing the boat. He's like, I gotta disguise myself. I'm no longer General Salami. I am now Colonel Mustard. Everyone on this slice of time, even though on this channel, we've gotten to know them pretty good. At this point, General Salami is on our Christmas card list, right? But the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps area with what looks like and sounds like General Salami at this point, or one of his cohorts. General Salami, why you always gotta sandwich us in between all this rhetoric? Why you gotta put us in the middle between two delicious pieces of sourdough and make everything sound so intense? General Salami, can you please tone down the rhetoric? Meanwhile, General Salami is like, no, and I will slice you incredibly thin if you say that one more time. These F-35s and these F-18s. At this point, they're also bringing in General Salami, who's saying that the US has no chance of fighting against Iran. This guy's basically shown that he is the meat in the middle of a delicious sandwich of the Ayatollah and the hardliners of the IRGC. Iran, we don't want that. And Iran's like, fine, well, we're gonna send our chief negotiator, General Salami, to make you feel sandwiched in between two options that you don't want. And more on General Salami in a second. There's actually some IP general from Iran that we all know and love, Salami, General Salami. Well, first it was Hussein Salami, former IRGC commander-in-chief. He was the quote machine. He once told the world that he captured American sailors and they were crying. That's basically his quote there. He also promised to cleanse the planet from the filth of America and Israel's existence. Thanks for that, Salami. You're just a disgusting sandwich at this point. But the original General Salami actually had a brother, and we've gone deep into the intel on the new General Salami. He is a commander in the Artesh. That's Iran's conventional military, and it's a relatively professional force compared to the IRGC. Again, the bar is set pretty low here, but it sounds like the new General Salami is the mouthpiece connecting the IRGC and the Artesh. But the new General Salami is basically sandwiched between two delicious pieces of sourdough bread, which happen to be the IRGC on one side and the new supreme leader, who hasn't even appeared in public yet on the other side, basically being pushed with a toothpick, connecting him to different pieces of cheese, lettuce, and delicious tomatoes, along with some mayo that's making him extremely delicious. But at the same IRGC regime is putting out, including General Salami, who basically gets a toothpick stuck through him every time he goes to a party and people just use him as finger food. Of course, General Salami is going to chime in. This guy is the link between the Artesh and between the IRGC. He's the brother of the original Salami, the aged Salami that was aged for many years, that was basically decimated during IRGC Major General that we just brought up, Hussein Salami. Yes, General Salami was his name. He spent years on television promising to annihilate America and Israel. He was struck down, we know, the cocktail party of the 12-Day War, and then his replacement, General Pakpour, was also killed day one of this war, of Operation Epic Fury. So the IRGC has burned through 2 commanders in under a year, and they're still giving speeches like this. And at this point, they should probably see the writing on the wall that if they continue this rhetoric, they're basically going to be sliced very thin and put on a delicious platter of finger foods next to General Salami. 3 IRGC commanders in 9 months. At some point, this job listing should just say that Ali al-Salim has been running continuously. Should they rename Ali al-Salim to Ali al-Salami? Just a little nod of the hat of, yeah, General Salami, we're going to keep putting you on sandwiches. He called it a proportional response, but what I think it really was the IRGC General Salami sitting at a targeting desk, feeling a little bit insecure, feeling like he needed to compensate a little bit for some reasons. Maybe his hoagie wasn't quite as big as he was hoping it would be. Oh, Footlong? Nope. 6-inch sub? Nope. 2-inch sub? Yeah, that's about right for General Salami. So it's kind of clear